It's a very busy day for the head coach of the Fighting Irish, who I don't know if we can afford his talent fee. He's been the official spokesperson and announcer of all of the gentlemen who have decided to come to Notre Dame. Just your thoughts right now. I sense excitement in this building, and there's a legitimate reason for the excitement.
Well, with the new year, certainly, brings great optimism. You're not defined by what you did last year. You're defined by, what you're going to do in the upcoming year. And that's the Notre Dame way of doing things. And so we've recruited hard for this class to put them in a position where they could, help this 2017 football team. And if you look at last year in 16, a lot of those freshmen had to come in to play. I don't know. I hope that they all don't have to all play this year like they did last year, but a number of these guys will be contributors in the 2017 football season. So there's a lot of excitement with the guys that are here on campus right now because they want to live up to the tradition of Notre Dame excellence. And then there's a number of recruits that want to get involved with what they believe is their destiny too, and being part of a championship.
And I think there's a recognition there that, and again, you're forward focused now, and you should be, but throughout last year, and you talked about all the young players who played, and yet, with the exception of one game, very competitive in every game. The 7 losses by 32 points. So you didn't do enough to win the games. Obviously, something didn't go well, right. But it was a year deep. It wasn't program deep. You were still playing good football. You just weren't playing good enough in this 1 year.
Yeah, so, you're still evaluated on wins and losses, but there are other things that measure what you're doing within your program, and that is how you're treating your kids, how you're developing your players. And we think that we made great strides in the form of developing our players to take the next step. And that next step is happening right now before our eyes in terms of our workouts, the way our guys see themselves, the way our guys believe in their ability to play at the championship level. So with all of the things that went on last year, which were very difficult, we're going to feel the positive effects of it in 17.
And I think some of the momentum that I can feel in this building is from your new staff members. I got to talk to all 7 of them on Monday, and I was impressed not just by their knowledge, but their enthusiasm and their personalities. I mean, 5 of those guys I met for the first time, and they immediately connected with me. I think they connect with everybody they deal with.
Yeah, I mean, so it's not what you know, it's what you can teach your players, and they're great teachers, they're great communicators. I mean, you can sense that when you sit down, as you mentioned, and you talk to them. So I wanted coaches that could take their knowledge and really be able to translate that to our players. I mean, it doesn't matter what we know. I mean, it's the ability to teach. These are great teachers. These are great mentors for our players, and couldn't be more excited to having them around.
Throughout this process, and you have the personal visits here, you have the home visits, the phone calls today, but what are the themes for the players that you have brought in? Because they know they will be challenged, and you don't sugarcoat it. You're going to be challenged in the field. You're going to be challenged in the classroom. The next 4 or 5 years are going to be hard, and all of these guys have said, I want that challenge. What have they told you are the reasons why they want to take on the challenge?
Excellence. They want to play for championships, and they want a degree from Notre Dame. So first and foremost, they recognize the value of a Notre Dame degree and what it's going to do for them. So if you don't recognize that first and foremost, then Notre Dame doesn't make sense to you. Secondly, they want to play for championships. They don't want to play for conference championships. If they wanted to play for a conference championship, they go to a team that has a conference. We don't play in a conference. We align ourselves with a conference, but we don't play for a conference championship. They want to play for a national championship. So these are guys with high goals, high aspirations. So they come in here with a mission for excellence. What we try to do is build on those traits that are necessary for that excellence. And that's really our job on a day-to-day basis.
You led the way in this process, but certainly you just went through dramatic but necessary coaching staff change. And yet, this class, you lost a few, you gained a few the last few weeks, and the nucleus stayed together. What do you have to say about Coach Elston and the rest of the recruiting staff and the job that the incoming coaches did, and even the outgoing guys continued to do their jobs until they left, about just the whole team effort to put together a very good coach, a very good recruiting class under some adversity?
Well, I think it starts with the guys that we recruited early on, and those guys that committed to Notre Dame early were in fact that nucleus that's stuck together, and I think that really allowed us to get our message out and continue to talk about why you would come to Notre Dame. So they had the why down, and not what's Notre Dame going to do for me, but why would I go to Notre Dame? And so we were able to keep that group together. And then those that fell off, they were more interested in what Notre Dame could do for them instead of why would I go to Notre Dame. And that message kept resonating from Aaron Kearney, who runs our recruiting office, and Jasmine Johnson, who does an incredible job. Mike Elston is our recruiting coordinator. And then our coaches, who were able to continue to articulate, why do you want to be at Notre Dame? I want a degree from Notre Dame that's going to set me up for the rest of my life, and I want to win a championship. So they did an incredible job of keeping that together. Dave Poloquin getting the resources to our assistant coaches so they could get out on the road and continue that message. If we lost the player, Dave had another one waiting for us that had already been teed up. So a collective team effort.
And that total buy-in by the players, and I know you're beginning your 8th season. You have seen how important that is, and sometimes you might even take a guy that buys in more than maybe somebody who's a little bit better athletically, because the buy-in leads to more success, not just in the classroom, but actually on the field.
Oh, there's no question, Jack. I think, again, you have to understand, first and foremost, why you want to be at Notre Dame. Look, we can't win you over with fancy graphics and, great sayings and, putting our arm around you and loving you and, making you our best friend. We're going to do a great job with relationships, but you're going to come here to Notre Dame to develop as a man, and that's got to hit you more than anything else. And I think we do a great job of giving them that opportunity and that choice to shop down a different aisle. And we get a lot of kids that recognize that, and then it's our job to go out and show them that Notre Dame's the right place for them.
As we wrap this up, and you're going to talk about all of the recruits, and the process isn't complete yet, so I'm not going to put you in the position to mention to somebody who hasn't been certified yet.
Right.
At 1:30, Coach will be giving his press conference. You'll be able to watch it live here on Fighting Irish Media, but we're giving a tour of the Crossroads Project, which will be wrapped up in time for the fall, and they're in your locker room right now. But talk to me about how excited you are and some of the improvements and how that's going to help your program.
Well, I think first of all, anything that helps our students and our student athletes is an improvement for our athletics and our football program. So, the Crossroads Project really was about student-centered. How can we help our students and our student athletes? Classrooms, technology, recreation, food service, career services, all coming together under one umbrella, and that being our stadium. It doesn't get any better than that, right? You use the football stadium as a focal point. We certainly added luxury boxes. We certainly added, the visual jumbotron. But this is really about providing more services to our students and our student athletes. I think if there's one project that is obviously something that we're really excited about, it's the North Tunnel, right? Mm-hmm. The iconic North Tunnel, where now that is going to be just for Notre Dame football. You won't see, a semi from another team in there. It's going to be our tunnel, and there's going to be the locker room that's going to be redone to keep its iconic flavor to it, but upgraded to the 21st century. So that's going to be a real nice piece for us. But I think the whole thing, it's student-driven, it's for our students, and it just helps everybody on campus.
And to celebrate the completion of this program, we're going to forego, at least for this year, the Shamrock Series.
Yeah.
We've talked about how great that's been for the university, but there's nothing wrong with playing another game in your home stadium.
No, we'll take 7. We like 7. If we could squeeze out a couple more, that'd be nice. But I know our guys are really excited about 7 home games, and the Shamrock Series has been a great series for us. But, we're getting Georgia at home, which we think that's a great opportunity to play an SEC team that's been perennially one of the better teams in the SEC. So it should be for a great home game situation.